Well, hello everyone. It's me, Dr. Naita, and welcome back. Welcome to another episode of Educational Moments with Dr. Naita. And as always, I'm here, you're here, so we're here and let's get going. I am so excited. Look, I have an awesome show lined up this evening. I have a fabulous speaker, and today we're talking about ACEs, adverse childhood experiences, and parenting skills. And how do we blend the two? So, look, we're providing real solutions with a real expert in the field, and we have a show for you. So, look, share this stream with your friends, share it, like it, do what we have to do, but we want to get some incredible information out to the community. So, look, grab your paper, grab a pen, and let's get started. All right, well, he's back. None other than
Yes.
Dr. Javardo Jones. Let's give him some love. Woo! So happy to see you. I'm so glad you're here,
Yes.
Javardo. Thank you for coming back and for speaking with my audience about adverse childhood experiences or ACEs. And look, would you please, first of all, before we jump in, before we dig in, can you introduce yourselves? Tell the audience who you are, what you do, what brought you to, this particular path that you're on, and what it is that you do for the community.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Thank you, Dr. Naita, for inviting me back. Hopefully, I did well last time. I'm assuming I did. So thank you for giving me another opportunity to be on Educational Moments with Dr. Naita.
Hey, woo,
I am excited. I really am. I'm pumped. I'm trying to calm down before I get too excited. So, yes, I am here, and I'm excited to be a part of this show. Um, I am a ACE Overcomers certified facilitator of a 12-week curriculum. AceOvercomers.org is located in Merced, California. The founder is Dave Lockridge, the founder and the CEO, and he has graciously allowed me to be a part of this program. And these are some of the things that I was striving to do before I met Dave. So he's an incredible man of God. He loves God, loves God's people. So I'm excited just to be a part of that organization going forward. I am also ordained minister. I have founded about 10 years ago the Hope Center of Orange Park, where we are helping to eradicate illiteracy in our community. So I'm excited about that as well. So we're just excited. I do jail and prison ministries. I am a on-call chaplain. I do several things. I'm a life coach. I'm a mentor. I have counseled people. I have helped people from all walks of life. I've traveled to at least 7 different countries on missions trip, helping people,
Awesome.
ministering, serving the community. So I'm just excited, just grateful to God for him giving me the opportunity.
This is awesome. I am so excited.
Yes.
Thank you. It is just so good to know somebody like you. So I am just, I'm honored. So thank you for being on the show this evening. So
Yeah.
look, we want to talk about ACEs, but I know not everybody knows what that is. Would you
Right.
give us a recap? What is ACEs? What is this all about?
Well, in 1997, Kaiser Permanente and the CDC got together, and they had one of the largest study in that day as it relates to adverse childhood experiences, 17 plus thousand participants. And they came up with this ACE study based on 10 areas, for example, that impacted a life of a child all the way up to adulthood. And they studied 10 types of adverse childhood experiences. I'm gonna just give you a few: emotional, physical, sexual abuse, emotional neglect, physical neglect, domestic violence against the mother, mental illness of a family member, substance abuse in the home, parental separation and divorce, imprisonment of a household member. And based on this study, one of the things that Dr. Filiti, he was one of the chief investigators, said, one does not just get over some things, even 50 years later. You know, sometime in our circles, we may tell people, wherever they be in church and life, get over it.
We
But
do.
some people just cannot get over it because they have deep wounds.
Yes.
They have deep childhood experiences, which they cannot articulate sometimes. They just know the behavior that is taking place and they don't know how to control it, whatever it is. So that is what is adverse childhood experiences in a nutshell at the moment.
So there's something called an ACE score.
Yes.
So what is the ACE score and what does that represent?
The ACE score represents several things. It is a tally of 10 areas: abuse, neglect, and household dysfunction. And those things cover the areas, for example, abuse, emotionally, meaning the child been yelled at, belittled, insulted, physically, hit, spat upon, restrained, threw under the bed, in the closet, kicked out of the door, just physically abused. And obviously sexual abuse, hopefully that's self-explanatory. That is under the category of abuse. And then the next area, as far as the ACE score, those 10 points, neglect, emotionally, not providing a nurturing or an attention to a child's emotional development. Physical, not providing for the physical needs, food, shelter, medical care, all of those things. Now, dysfunctional household, that is one for sure. Domestic violence, I've talked about it. Mental illness, imprisonment, substance abuse, all of those areas cover those 10 study that they did. So if, for example, you have an ACE score of 1, you know, you may have a chance. You have an ACE score of 4, 5, or 6. I think somebody did. You're going to need some help. And because the higher the score, the less likely a person may live to see 50 or 60, because your lifespan is shortened based on the study, 20 years.
Wow.
Because what you don't confront, you cannot conquer.
That's right.
So
And it begins to eat at you, right?
right.
It begins to eat at you, and it will manifest itself in other
Yes.
ways. It can manifest
Yes.
itself in physical, your own self, physical abuse, you know,
Yes.
with terrible picking up bad habits to
Yes.
comfort this illness, this hurt, this
Mhm.
sore that you have inside of you. Or it
Yeah.
can turn itself on you and increase your likelihood for those long-term diseases that, you know, so often plague our community anyway.
Oh, sure.
The diabetes and the heart disease.
Diabetes. Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Oh, sure.
So,
Yeah.
but you covered a lot of things. You
I
said,
did.
you know, verbal abuse and physical abuse and some neglect. A lot of people have experienced these things. About how many people in America do you think have experienced these issues?
An incredible amount. 66%, you know, have at least one ACE score, and 14% have an ACE score of 4 or higher. That's a
Ooh,
lot of folks.
that
I
is.
mean, I think in the United States we have close roughly 250 million to 300, maybe. I don't know. It could be 400 million. But just imagine that just in the United States. But ACE is just not located to the US of A.
Right.
It's around the world.
Right.
It is around the world. People are just discovering, and people are trying to study what the CDC and the Kaiser Permanente put together. So it's incredible.
So tell me this. So an adult who has experienced some of these traumas in their
Right.
lives,
Hmm.
and they just, a lot of times we suppress things,
Yes.
we push it down, and then we just deal with it,
Yeah.
and we don't talk about it because my
Yeah.
family doesn't talk about things like that. We don't talk about Uncle Johnny who messed with all the little girls in the family. We just don't talk about it.
Right.
And I'm just using that as an example. I don't have an Uncle Johnny. I have other issues, but I don't have an Uncle Johnny.
Okay.
But we just learn to deal with it. We just deal with it, and we dealt with that pain. Does it turn around? Does it impact our skills as a parent or the way we rear our children? Do you think it has an impact?
Most definitely, Naita, it has an incredible amount of impact as a parent is trying to rear a child. Parents with a high age score often have difficulty connecting emotionally with their children,
Mm,
period. Because they were abused or neglected. They may have never learned to connect, but
right.
now they have children and they still don't know how to connect. Parents must communicate with their children and with one another.
Mm-hmm.
Parents must monitor their emotions. I think I talked about monitor and moderate last time. They have to pay attention and then they have to regulate their emotions, their anger, and they have to have a sense of kid connectivity
Wow.
and make sure that they are responding in an empathetic and a sympathetic manner. So if they can do that, become get to that place of awareness, there's hope. There's always hope because there's always help. It's just a matter of them recognizing it and coming to that point in their life.
Wow. You said a lot because a lot of times because you've had hurt and like you said, you
Yes,
didn't get that relationship with your
yes,
parents. You don't know how to turn around and give it to your child. So I do see a lot of parents, instead of trying to relate and understand the child, they just provide things.
yes,
And I'll just, well, what do you mean I don't connect? You wanted those Jordans, I got them for you,
right.
or so they just provide things, and that's so dangerous when there's things but not a relationship.
Yes, yes. I want to say something else about that because there's several parenting styles. It really is. And I just wanted to address two of them
Okay.
tonight. Um, One I would call the authoritarian.
Mm.
Hopefully I said that correct. An
Oh,
authoritarian
yeah.
uh, type of parenting, which they lead from the top down, which
Mhm.
means they interject their power assertive.
Mhm.
They're all about
They're
high
bullies.
control. Yes,
They're bully parents.
yes,
Bully.
yes.
Yes.
I like how you said that. I haven't
Bully.
thought of it that way. Actually, that is true. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Parents bullying their children, and yet the children get bullied at school.
Or
So what's
they turn around and are the bullies at school.
yes, yes, for sure. So
Mhm.
both parent and child must know how to communicate, but especially from the parent to the child. The child is nothing but the child, a sponge. So they have to know how to come together and exchange ideas. They have to be relational centered,
Relational,
nurturing, reasonable,
integrated.
warm. They got to be firm though, but they have to understand that. So I'm saying, as far as an authoritative type of style, it helps for them as they relational and centered, they're nurturing, and all of those things are reasonable, they're warm, and then they respond instead of react to their children, which is a big difference. Most of the time, when someone reacts, it's impulsive.
Hmm.
It's I call it from the flesh. It's how they feel
Right.
versus what's really real, what's really going on. So an authoritative type of style is the right way to parent, which I just talked about. Exchanging ideas, relational, centered, balanced, control, responsive, reciprocal. They give and they take versus just take and not give. And that's what an what's the word? Authoritarian.
Yeah.
Man, I'm 4 or 5 syllables, uh, which is, not good. Now, the Bible says that train up a child in the way they should go.
Mm-hmm.
And when they're old, they will not depart from the training.
Mm-hmm.
So an authoritative style is the best style.
Either
Yes,
way, yes.
yes.
Yeah.
But an authoritarian style causes a child possibly be angry,
Mm-hmm.
to be self-critical,
Mm-hmm.
to be depressed, to have a wounded spirit. And one scripture says, Naita, that fathers do not provoke your children
That's what it
to
says.
wrath.
That's what the word says.
There you go, because this is what it's all about, the spiritual aspect of our lives. So
Mm-hmm.
we must not do that. So if the parent can understand the differences between the two, and they get help, they need help, there's hope. There's hope.
That's awesome. So, so for the child who, has a well parent and
Yes.
great household, but has experienced trauma outside the home, and now they have to, come back home, and for whatever, it could be trauma at school, it could be trauma in the community,
Right.
something horrific happened.
Right.
How does the parent begin to help that child pull them out of that and to, help them so that they don't increase their ACEs score and then become that authoritarian parent or authoritarian adult later in life?
Authoritarian. I like that. That is so true. For them not to get to that place. So one of the things is important to do is that being constantly connected with your child.
Mm-hmm.
That helps. Be predictable in your child's eyes.
Mm.
Yes, very important, because children depend upon them. They depend upon you as a parent.
Yeah.
You must be there for them. If you
I
if
don't mean
you're
to
not
cut you off. I don't mean to cut you
really,
off, but
oh my goodness, I'm on the road. Okay, let's go back.
No, but be predictable in your child's eyes. You know what? Let's go back to the classroom. Let's go back to teaching, because it's
Yes.
what we do.
Yeah.
Rituals and routine.
Yes.
Rituals and routine is how a classroom maintains its order,
Okay.
through rituals and routines.
So true.
And it is so important that young people have rituals and routines. They just,
Right.
the same thing every day, every time, it's the same time of day. That's how they establish patterns. That's how they establish security,
Yes.
and they are comfortable and can learn, and for if a child doesn't know which parent they're going to get on a particular day,
Yes.
that's unstable.
Yes.
And it's
Yes.
unstable, and it's
Yes.
hard for them to develop properly when we just don't know who's going to show up today.
So true.
So
So true.
that just came into my mind. So please go continue about being predictable in your child's eyes.
Yes. No, thank you for interjecting at that moment. I do appreciate that for sure. So, because if you are unpredictable, your child will not want to connect. And it's all about the parent connecting to the child.
Mm-hmm.
The child really knows the parent in their unpredictability.
Mm-hmm.
They know the parent when the parent is real and when the parent is not. They know when the parent says, come on, do as I say,
Mm-hmm. And not as I do.
but not as I do. The child knows that. They may not say nothing at the moment, but eventually they're going to catch on. Then they may continue to repeat the same patterns in their life.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be at that place, and will withdraw and discount your authority. When parents are unpredictable, that child will withdraw. I'm going back slowly. Slowly. It may not be, it's going to be subtle. And then they would discount the authority of the parent. Naida, that happens all the time. And the parent is wondering what happened.
Wow.
But
I'm trying to make
how,
a note. Trying to make a
yes,
note, but that's good.
yes.
So you said, say it again. When parents are unpredictable, kids will
When,
rebuke.
when- yes, when parents are unpredictable, their child will not want to connect and will withdraw or discount your authority.
Ooh, that's bad.
And parents don't want that to happen.
No, ever,
That's when, yes.
ever.
Oh, no. So that's why it's important. The question you asked for, I don't know what's going on. So, we'll keep going.
I don't know why we're getting that feedback, but keep going, keep going.
Yes. Oh, my goodness. This is a new, you know why? Because this show, we all know.
It's
But
the topic.
yes,
Yeah,
God,
it's the topic.
so, and that's important. So as we go forward.
Wow, that's good. It says, but when parents are unpredictable, kids will not connect or they'll discount your authority,
Yes,
And yeah, that's when a parent has lost control. And
that's correct.
that's where we don't want to be ever, even as with grown children.
That's so true.
You
So true.
definitely don't want that. All righty. So, kind of shifting the subject just a little bit.
Okay.
With the pandemic,
Okay.
so many young people have experienced failure. They've been withdrawn, they've been away from their
Yes.
friends.
Yes.
And I know it, in the state of Florida, our kids went back to school. Not everyone. People had the choice whether
Right.
or not to send their kids back.
Right.
So,
Right.
I'm not sure what the percentages are across the state,
Right.
but I'm going to venture to say that at least 60% of our school students, our school age children, are back in school.
Right.
But across the country, that's not the same.
Right.
There are so many states where kids have been out of school for a whole year and there's no sign of them going back anytime soon. So these kids have experienced, some did not transition well to virtual learning.
Right.
These have been great students that have been outstanding since they arrived,
Yes.
and
Yes.
they get into this virtual environment and they have just failed to thrive. It did
Right.
not work for them. So I'm seeing that, there's just a greater depression, there's greater isolation. What
Yes.
can parents be doing now to help their students, make to find, regain their confidence?
Right.
And online learning isn't for everybody, and that's
That's
just
so
is
true.
what it is. So what can parents do now to help their kids, because so many are struggling, so many are hurting?
Right. That's an awesome question, Naita, and I'm glad you asked it. So, four things, but I'm gonna explain them as we go further. First of all, be there. The second thing, be supportive. The third thing, be involved. And the fourth thing is be encouraging. Life has happened to every family, so it's important to be there as a parent, be supportive, be involved, be encouraging. The problem of depression and frustration is experienced by nearly every student. Think about it, across the nation.
Mm-hmm.
It's not just to this location, but different. Like I said, schools are starting at different times, but they have friends, they have family, they have people that talk to them over the phone. Oh man, it's bad there. Oh, it's better over here, and all of that. So
Mm-hmm.
they're still connecting to their family member, their first cousin, or their uncle, or whatever. So the connectivity is still always there, but it could be negative or it could be positive.
True.
So we are social beings, as we all know, who need interaction. You know, this magnifies the importance of emotional connectivity.
Yes.
Naida, that is so important. Emotional connectivity. Parents need to connect with their children.
Yes.
I believe everything begins and ends in the home.
Absolutely. I agree. And it goes back
Okay.
to what you said. Parents must be relational centered. They must be.
Yes.
They must
Yes.
be.
Nurturers, nurturing.
Yeah.
Parents got to be a good buffer
Yeah.
for their children because they leave and go out into the world, or even if they've been stuck in the house. I mean, it's just crazy out there. So, children, remember that authoritative figure or that parent that speaks to them, talks with them instead of talking at them.
Right. Wow. Wow. This is good. This is good stuff. That's why we're getting so much resistance right now.
I have no doubt.
But this is good stuff. So I know for me, I think, I'm constantly thinking and
Yes.
working and
Yes.
things like that. I'm just weird
Yes.
like that. But I am deeply concerned about, those kids who have been away, from
Yes.
school, away from help, and have been stuck in the house with, family members who may not have their best interests at heart, those who needed services and are not getting those services because, the school isn't following up, or, child welfare or child services is not being sent to these homes.
Yes.
So I'm just wondering really what's going to emerge once the doors of the church, once the doors of the country is open again, once everybody, we can get back out. I'm just like wondering what on earth is going to emerge. I wonder about, how many little babies are being born
Yeah.
to cousins and uncles and things right now, because I mean we've been locked up for a year. Some
Right.
people have been not so much in Florida because they let us go free and our numbers
Yes.
are going crazy.
Yes.
But
Yes.
around the nation, people have been locked up for over a year. And the only girl in the family and things. So I think about that. So what kind of emotion is it? Just me, or are there any studies being done? Is anybody thinking about this? Is anybody in the mental health industry, are we working on this, trying to tackle whatever is going to emerge once the doors reopen and
Right.
everybody is back moving
Sure.
around? Are there
Yes.
any studies that you know of or anything right
I
now?
know there is, Naita, but I can't put my hands on some. I know studies are out there in mental health and in that industry as well as other areas. And just like you said, uh, a lot of unknowns because when things open back up, you don't know what's going to come out of the box. You don't know what's going to come out of the closet. You don't know what somebody's going to say that happened to them 5 months ago at midnight, 5 weeks ago. And like you said, they're hanging around family members. They're getting close. They're getting, at a uncomfortable space and in a bad place mentally.
Right.
And a lot of times they're doing anything they could do to cope, to manage the moment. And it's something that has been put on all of us. So the emotional state of the nation is fragile.
Mm-hmm.
It really is all over. So we are overly sensitized, number one, and we're intolerant to the opinion of other people.
Yeah.
Especially in the age of communication, in the time, when communication is it's accessible, it's impactful, but yet we are stifling. And as you know, a lot of things has happened, stifling the freedom of speech,
Mm-hmm.
in our country. But we must open the lines of communication. We have to do that. When everything, we have to open the lines of communication and
Our ears. Our
yes,
ears.
we got to listen.
Listen. Yes.
We got to listen. We must not be ready to say something before someone finishes. We got to listen. Parents has to listen. Children have to listen, because there's so much going to come out of the closet. And sometimes it may not even be believable because it's the unimaginable.
Horrendous. It's so horrendous that you don't even
Exactly.
think that this
Yeah.
could happen. That's
Yeah.
something that happened in a movie. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But Naida, children really, God created us. I mean, children are resilient.
Yes.
They really are. They really are. They can bounce back. They can overcome.
Yeah.
But as a parent, I believe if only they listen to their children,
Mhm.
is you'd be amazed how life will turn around in that home. But a lot of times parents just don't listen. But children, to me, and I know you know that, they are really resilient. They blow our minds sometimes. We think they get down, they get hurt. All of this happened to them, and we just say, how are they going to handle it?
And they
But
bounce right.
there you go. There you go. They really do. They
Yeah,
really,
and we're doing over here struggling.
hello. Hello. We are.
I'm over here. I'm going over here
Really?
stressed out.
I think we're stressed for them and ourselves.
Yeah.
Plus,
Yeah.
I mean, but again, they really are resilient. God
Yeah.
created them. Children are fearfully and wonderfully made by God, and
Right.
the Bible said, "Marvelous are His works." So they
Absolutely.
really are resilient. They really, I know, they'll surprise you and they'll surprise me, and especially when we look at their circumstances, their conditions, and the home environment. When they talk to us about it, when they tell us about it, we sit on TV and we hear it, but they really are resilient. But I know they need parents to listen to them.
Yes. Yes,
That will
absolutely.
help.
I was just checking Facebook to see if there were any comments or any questions, and I don't see anything. Do you have any further things that you would like to share? Because we have, we started talking and 30 minutes flies by. So,
It does. It
it
does.
does.
It
So, do you
does.
have
It does.
anything, last comments or anything that you
Well,
want to share?
I'm gonna venture to tell you about the ACE curriculum. I like to talk about that a little more for sure. But
Please.
sure, I do believe that there's so much pain, so much suffering, so much uncertainty in our world, period, in homes and in parenting for sure, because parents are raising children, but yet children are raising children, meaning they are parents, but they still are a child of here
Hmm.
because they have not had the right information and the skills necessary to parent effectively.
Wow.
And that's important. Now, one of the things that I said earlier is that children will disconnect, but they want to connect to the parents. And I think you type that in, it says they will withdraw and discount the authority of the parent.
Mm.
Because eventually children will really get to the point where they think they're smarter than the parent or they know more than the parent based on what's going on. And the parent is trying to keep things together. The parent is trying their best, but their knowledge is not there
Mm-hmm.
as it is with the child. You
Right.
know, let's say educationally, because there's a lot of parents that have not went to higher learning institutions. And you know that, and I know that. So, and yet their children are excelling and doing great things. And I have experience because I've seen this, how parents hold their child back
Mm-hmm.
intentionally because they see the child progressing, progressing, and progressing. And it's all of a sudden, wow, you may outdo me. But the parents have suffered so many, I guess, the tally count on the ACE survey to they're struggling and not getting help. I know DCF is in a lot of homes and all of those issues. And so I think, all of the things that we talked about as far as parents, yes, go ahead. I'm a pause.
Because you said
Oh, I didn't supposed to say that.
you you said a mouthful when you
Okay, let me
said
shut
that you had no when you said that parents will hold their kids back when they see that their kids are excelling and will exceed them. But come on, that on the health in a healthy family, that's the goal.
yes,
That
yes,
is the
yes,
goal for your kids to do
yes.
better. Is they're supposed to. They're supposed to.
Hello.
Each generation is supposed to do better than the previous generation. Absolutely, that is.
Yes,
But when you've experienced trauma
yes,
as a young person, then that isn't developed.
yes.
And then now, like you said, now you're trying to parent
Right,
and you still have your own wounds that you need to heal from
right,
because
right.
ultimately your kid going to the next level is the goal. That is the goal.
Right.
But when you're authoritarian instead of,
Yes.
when you're,
Authoritarian.
a
Yes.
dictator and you're the bully and everything,
Authoritarian.
you are not, you just don't see that. You don't think they're afraid of losing that control. That's what it is.
So true. No, so true. Now, when you're out of control as a parent, guess what? Makes you feel less than, makes you feel inadequate. And it's all right to lose control. It's all right for a child. I counsel a couple recently. The child just tells the mother what to do and how to do it because, for example, she had a lot of aces in her life, and the child has succeeded and superseded the parent educationally and vocabularily and from a vocabulary standpoint and academically and it's excelling. So then the mother got mad and start yelling. So now they're in my office. We got to talk. Then she admitted that she was abused. She didn't know her father. She was a little jealous, even though she said, "Go for it, daughter. You can do it. You can make it." But then the daughter went for it.
Right.
It's
Right.
like,
She believed it.
I
She did it. Now you're mad. Oh,
Yes.
wow. But that's that
Crazy.
inside. That's that hurt. That's not her. She doesn't want to be that way.
No,
Want to tear
no,
her daughter down. She doesn't.
no, not at all. Oh, for sure, for sure. And they each, with the ACEs and all of those things from a childhood, when a parent, obviously a mother or father, experiences those things, we may ask, what happened to them? Why are you the way you are? For sure. But I think it's further than what happened, let's say domestic, or someone went to prison, or verbal, or physical, or mental illness. It's all, yes, it is what happened, but it's the thing that happened inside. It's the experience, but it's what traumatized them
Right.
inside.
Right.
That's more so than the experience. Because I've seen parents say their son at 10 years old said to the mother, because the father was very abusive to the mother and to the son, and the son told his mother when the father went to sleep after he got done drinking and beating her up, he said to her, "We got to go." So they left.
Wow.
And never looked back.
Okay.
But the son later on, remember, that's one of the things, parent separation of ACE. He missed his father and he became a drunk.
Oh.
He hated what his father did, but now he's following the same pattern.
Right.
So again, it's all about the experience, which was bad, but how they internalize it and how it materializes.
Yes.
That makes a difference.
Yes. That's good.
Yes. So I can go on.
That was good. That was
So,
good.
so I think if I can, I got plenty. I got like 3 hours worth here. I mean, I definitely want to talk about the ACEs curriculum for sure, ACE Overcomers, and that's what I do. But also, if I could say this, a takeaway strategy, which I think we talked about several, for parents that will watch and maybe are watching, that's important. I think it's important for the parent to set aside time for brain space. Set aside brain space.
Okay, set aside time for, please explain.
Yes, set aside, I would just say set aside brain space with their children. And what I mean by that, outside of schoolwork, outside of housework, because from the brain standpoint, it is still helping that child to develop as they have healthy connectivity. Because they say, based on studies and science, that the brain is still developing and being shaped and molded all the way to the age of 30, almost.
Yeah, 25.
So that's important for the parent perhaps, because like even with the pandemic, people are still busy. People are, I don't have it with me, people are on their phone.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they having dinner, but they're texting their parent while they're at dinner.
Mm-hmm.
And you know that. I'm just saying, so there's really no relationship. So I think that's important to set aside brain space.
So give me an example of setting aside brain space for a mother who has two little children. What does that mean, setting aside? What does that look like? I hear what you're saying, but what does that look like?
What does that look like? Well, two little children. Um, I would say if the TV is on, cut the TV off. I would say if they have their phone, put the phone up and just do eye to eye, skin to skin, meaning, and that leads me to the love language. That was the second thing. Learn your child's love language.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Oh, yeah. That's part of that brain space. And again, outside of schoolwork, outside of chores at home, learn your child. Do they need words of affirmation? Do they need to be touched?
Mm-hmm.
You know, do they need a certain thing? So quality time, touch, affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
Every child is different, and every child has a love language.
That's true.
So as you're setting aside brain space, that's what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
Just goo, goo, goo. If it's little, playing with them, tickling them, making them laugh or making them giggle, because that releases good health endorphins and it promotes immunity, it promotes healing, it promotes connectivity.
Mm-hmm.
It really does,
Yeah.
especially at ages up to 3 years old.
Mm-hmm.
They will never forget that experience from a brain standpoint, but also from a mental standpoint. And that child would be probably more happy. Did I give you a couple of things that you do?
Mm-hmm.
So,
So brain space for a teenager would, because once
let me
they
give you an
turn into
example.
those aliens, it's hard to to connect. But as a parent, you have to be diligent in connecting. And
Yes.
I know kids, especially the girls, once they get a certain age, I mean, I've seen girls scare their daddies. The daddy don't even want to talk to them. Not scare them as in, I'm gonna beat you up, nothing like
I
that.
know.
They just don't. They like, ooh, that child is mean. She a monster. But it's just, it's a period of time that they have to go
Sure.
through. It's a growing, process. But nevertheless, it's still the parent who
Yes.
must
Yes.
insist on having that some one-on-one time. And like you said, you have some kids that love to be hugged. Okay.
Yes.
They
Oh
just
my
they
goodness.
love to be hugged. Then you
Yes.
have another child who, if you fix their favorite meal might be fried chicken. You fix them fried
Okay.
chicken, they will fight everybody in the house. And mama made this for me.
Yes.
No, it's for
Yes.
family, but
Yes.
but that's what connects to that child.
Sure.
For others, like you said, they need to hear those words. They need to hear,
Yes.
I'm proud of you.
Yes.
Some kids just need
Yes.
to hear that every
Yes.
day. So
Yes.
that is really good, knowing
Yeah.
your child's knowing your child's love language. And that's a great example of what brain space looks like. And
Sure.
and the bottom line is it's work. It's work. And
Is it really?
I'm tired and I worked all day. Yeah, but you had those kids.
Thank you. Thank you.
You had those kids. And if
You,
you want that relationship
yes.
when they're adults, then it's based on what did you do while they're still kids.
So true.
Yeah.
So true. Judgment starts at the house. So it's important for people to understand those spiritual principles as they're trying to rear their children, with the brain space, with the love language. Like you say, what does my teenager like to do? Let me get in their space. And what the problem that parents have, they want their child to get in their space. But we got to get in their space. If they like a certain show, you may hate it. It may be annoying to you, but still sit down next to your child and watch it for 30 minutes. Or if your child likes to walk, go in and walk, go to the park. That's another way of brain space. It's a connectivity. It's walking, it's talking. How's your day? How are you doing? I mean, how how are you thinking, or how is life? I mean, anything I can do. I mean, versus again, not talking at them, but talking with them. And children needs that. Teenagers needs that. They have all these identity crises, hormones are everywhere, and they feeling funny. And if they can't talk to the parent, guess what, Naida? They're going to talk to somebody.
They're going to talk to
That somebody may be the wrong body,
Yeah.
may be the wrong person.
Yeah.
So we have to do that. Yeah, those are great things to do. Mhm.
Yes, good.
Oh.
Good stuff. Good.
It is. Yes. 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 Yes.
That was good stuff.
Yes.
Let me see. I see Sabrina's over here saying, yes, Lord. She said, yes, you know, and you absolutely want your kids to be better than you. This is something that Sabrina
Yes.
Senior said. She said that's a mother's love for her children. Yes, it is. Yes, it is, Sabrina. Thank you for being on with us, Sabrina. We appreciate it. So that is awesome. Do you have any final words for us?
Sure. Without a doubt. Oh my goodness. Time has flown, Maida. I mean, really, you know we got to do this again. You know we got to do this.
We're going to do it again. We're going to do it again in March.
So I think I showed this. This is this is kind of the, if you can see it, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but next time send it to me and I'll put it up on the.
Okay. Overcome a difficult childhood. This is the 12-week lessons that we talk about and we present. You know, that's important for everyone to know as we go forward. And I think it's important, you know, like I said, I can do it virtually. We do it at the Hope Center of Orange Park. That's how they can get a hold of me. And some of the lessons, if I didn't mention it, it's important. The Hope Center of Orange Park, actually, the website is Hope Center OP. The website is Hope Center OP. And we have a Facebook page. If you get to the website, you can get to the Facebook page as well.
Is it .com or .org?
.org. Thank you. HopeCenter.org. The phone number that we accept calls. We have ours.
I'm ready.
It is 904-214-6739. So we're here. We're open. We're virtual. You can show up, and we if somebody just needs it with 5 people, 6 people, we social distance. We wear a mask. If people want to show up, I wait till we have enough students, and then we conduct the class, and we talk about several things: the origin of many mind, body, spirit illnesses. That's important. That's one of the important lessons. You know, the power of brain plasticity. You know, circuits, patterns, habits. Then we cap it off with why we get angry. And that's important. Then we have another lesson, learning relational skill. I could go on and on. And these are lessons, you know, that will help people. We need it in our society. We need it in this curriculum. I don't know if I said it, aceovercomers.org, Dave Lockridge, but it is evidence-based, which means science and scripture has validated this curriculum. You can't beat it.
You can't.
They says it works.
You can't.
It works. So you always want to be connected to a curriculum or something that works and that has been proven. So I'm excited.
Well, you should be. It's an awesome curriculum. It's an awesome work. And
yes.
It's such a great need in our nation.
Yes.
So, Javardo, I appreciate you coming again this
week.
I appreciate it. And I look forward to seeing you again in March. We have an exciting topic. What's going to be our topic in March?
Oh, we're going to deal with how teens with ACEs can learn relational skills.
Ooh, that's going to be good.
Yes, it is.
Good.
Yes, it is. Or students with ACEs can learn relational skills. So they're going to have to buckle up in March because I'm going to give you a lot of information And it's going to be life changing. It's going to change their paradigm, Naida. I'm telling you, it is.
Looking
Okay,
forward.
let me shut up.
Awesome. Well, Jabardo, thank you so much. It was good to see you. And let's
Yes.
do some more love.
Yes.
Thank you
Yes.
so much.
Yes.
Everyone, thank you for watching, and we'll be in touch.
Thank you.